Formations and tactics will never be the same. I've got a top 5. It's going to be controversial. It does not resemble anything we've seen in the past. Comment below your favorite formations or what you've been experimenting with. Full statement or caveat or disclaimer, player roles, these matter. Make sure that you have players on a plus or a double plus in as many positions as possible. This should be taken into heavy consideration. If you haven't played the game or taken a deeper dive into tactics, we now have visualization. Without the ball, with the ball. They don't look similar. Therefore, you can have a defensive setup and then automatically or naturally shift into a completely different look offensively. So on the record, we have never had this level of flexibility in builds, and this year we'll have more formations being used than ever before. If you are a nerd when it comes to tactics, roles, players, and matchups, FC25 might be for you. Honorable mentions. We're starting off with the 4-3-3-4. And I saw that Umit put together a video, and I was doing my best to understand his German. And it has that natural occurrence of having the 3 attackers. You're going for offense. You want to get bodies forward. And as it stands, plenty of the build-up play includes dribbling, at least as long as we have the L1 into R2 speed boost. Next, 4-3-2-1, where you can defend, and a 4-4-2, and then attack as you like. This should sound familiar. We've seen this previously, but again, we had the glimpse, we had the look, we had the theory or the hypothesis, but we didn't necessarily have the same level of visualization that you have now, or the clearness of that conversation. This change will impact in this way. Did I mention anyone can share their tactics with a code? You might have seen this already on social media, but it's never been easier to test out different methods or scenarios or operational thought process as you go forward and as you defend. Last of the honorable mentions, and I didn't think we'd be here, 4-2-3-1. It's a classic in the age-old saying defense wins championships, and I stand by this being a fantastic starter formation. In FC25, the gameplay generally is a little more sluggish. When we're talking about turns or releasing some of the passes, a lot more unforced error. And I'm not saying any of that as a positive or a negative. It just has its own unique feel. And I can almost guarantee if you feel rushed, you're not going to play well. At number 5, and I don't feel good about broadcasting this formation, but the 5-4-1, you will see at the pro level. You will see at the highest divisions. And whatever you're thinking, whatever you're envisioning, it's accurate. You can't break it down. It's a brick wall and you don't have a bulldozer. This is not Bob the Builder. We're talking rat tactics, ratatouille. I saw this online with Patrick James. Defends in a 5-4-1, but attacks in a 3-4-3. And you might say, how is that possible? Take a look. And those 3 defenders are so deep. It's not going to be an easy counterattack. You've got a lot of width. Players are always going to be open. And then you have inside almost attacking forwards alongside your mainstay. And this is based around roles. So what you've created is a defensive powerhouse that will also incorporate with easy outlets. And as I'm recording, there have been no announcements banning formations. So I'm not sure that's going to be on repeat this year. Last season, we saw 3 at the backs and 5 at the backs. They were removed. Let me get back on track. The 5-4-1, you're not going to enjoy it, but it is so difficult to beat. And it has to be in the top 5. At number 4, and I believe the most popular of the 4-3-3 variations, the second selection. The front 3 outlets, you have the spacing, it's quite conventional, yet you can manipulate. But I look at this formation as the ultimate counterattack, and you're going to witness plenty of that top tier, creme de la creme, soaking some pressure. Don't give up anything easy. We have a saying, bend but don't break defense, and then you unleash. Or if you want the slow buildup, sideline to sideline, you can try to go a little more slow, switching the pitch side to side. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record. It's not my intention, but what you can do, what you can accomplish amongst these changes is just never seen previously. Number 3, 4-5-1, flat addition, and I never thought I'd see the day. It's never been a high-profile formation. It was a D-lister, but now it's an A-lister. It's a glow-up. And with that many midfielders, or just that straight line of mids, the way that you can make it more defensive or offensive, it's remarkable. I did not realize that this tweet had 1.1 million views. Team Holland announces you can play a 4-3-2-1 while technically being in a 4-5-1 via the roles. And you might question them, why not play the other formation? You get other benefits from having this level of starting position. I've highlighted the code if you'd like to try that out. But the 4-5-1 has finally arrived. At number 2, and I have a heavy bias, but the 4-1-2-1-2, the narrow variation, enjoyment through the roof. You can generate better than a Zapdos on a stormy evening. If you never played Pokemon, that reference is not gonna hit. You have a better offensive spread with more audibles than a prime Peyton Manning. If you never paid attention to American football, that also might not connect. But with the 4-1-2-1-2, instant releases, quick counters, pressure application, and I'm having too much fun. That triangle of doom, I'm circumventing, so much expression. And maybe I have this ranked so highly because I'm enjoying the formation to that level, to that degree. I'm climbing up the mountain and then I'm taking the leap of faith. But I'm not the only one. I also discussed, interrogated, questioned, and listened to plenty of pro players before making this video. This came across my feed, and I like what he has to say. That cam position has a specific role that acts like a center forward or a striker. Try to get a player that is a striker that can play in the cam position, or a good cam that can play in that role. And he gave a couple examples with a Neymar or Lauren James. I've been using the Inform Messi, who I packed. Send it to me. Send it to me. Make it happen. Not only is it Messi, but we're dealing with the Inform variation. Welcome. And something that I like, and I cannot stress the importance of this, because I know so many of you will copy and paste pro tactics, but you're going to have a team that looks closer to this individual's team. You might not get the same result. Do you have the likes of an R9 or a Rude Hullet and Mbappe? Probably not. At number 1, and it could only be the 4-4-2 for yours truly, I was looking at Stokes tactics. I've been playing the 4-4-2 as well as a 4-2-2. And what I like so much about this formation is that it still is traditional. The players match up with the roles. The general shape is authentic to the formation. It feels foundational. And you can play the 4-4-2 in a manner where you have multiple formations that are relatively similar, and they could be more offensive, more balanced, or highly defensive. But what I like most about the formation is that I can get different approaches for different time periods of the game and orchestrate different symphonies. And at the end of the day, you want to keep everything as simple as possible. You've got to crawl before you walk. It's such a rarity to have this level of depth and comfort in one foundational formation. If you haven't found your magical spell and you're tired of watching Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings on repeat, start your quest with the 4-4-2 and maneuver from there. Seems like the perfect send-off. Let me know your thoughts. There's going to be so many questions. I'll do my best to answer everyone with as much detail as possible. And the reality, a lot of hypotheticals. The answers can't be universal, and it's going to make for quite the year of content around tactics and roles. And as always, I have a lot more coming out ASAP.